Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Theodore and thank you for joining me today. So I was inspired to talk about Libra energy this morning, and I made a Scorpio moon rising video recently, and I'm sure I'll kind of go through all the zodiac signs and placements, so to speak, as the channel evolves. But I want to talk about Libra rising and moon energy and maybe just some important messages maybe you need to know, or if you're just interested in learning astrology, this could be some good, you know, information, advice, because I recently recorded 3 classes that will be released within a week. And one of those classes is on the moon, transforming your life with your moon sign, it's called. I recorded a class yesterday called The Destiny of Your Rising Sign, which is probably, I was so impressed by, when I was editing it, I was like, wow, this is really a great hour and 20 plus minutes of information on rising signs and the destiny of your rising sign. And I really went deep. And then my third class is about just, I feel like it's more tailored for a beginner. How the 12 signs of the zodiac can reveal your life's hidden purpose. So after recording those 3 classes, I've been really getting super intuitive on just the details and specifics of how the big 3, especially, the risings and the moons, play such an important, oh my God, such an important part of our destiny and of our life. And I'm sure many of you already know this. But while I was doing and talking about Libra in one of those classes, I forget which one, I was really kind of getting this feeling there is, and I hate to say this and forgive me for anyone with Libra energy, but there's a weakness that they are susceptible to in this life, because this life really wants to squash Libra energy, I think, at times, because so much of life is challenge, and we have to be real with that. When I was teaching philosophy a couple of years ago, one of the biggest lessons in all of philosophy is navigating a life that is ultimately designed to bring you down. And one of the goals of the human spirit and the human beings in general is to find a way to come back to unity, respect, honor, love, and peace in a way. And if you look at all of that, that's kind of what Libra's ultimate goal is, peace, harmony, to make things okay, to be liked and accepted, to make others want to feel liked and accepted. So Libras are really in a position, if you have heavy Libra placements, or if you're a rising or a moon especially, this can be a difficult life to navigate, from early childhood through young adulthood, and then depending on how your life turns out, will dictate technically how much of this challenge will be faced or not faced. So I'm not going to talk about Libra sun necessarily today, unless you're, I'm talking specifically about the moon and the rising signs. And in those classes, guys, the rising sign class and the moon sign class, I really discuss why your moon and understanding your moon, and your rising and understanding your rising, are so important to even fulfill the destiny of your sun. Because your sun is something you need to grow into and advance in your life and evolve into. And yes, throughout our life, we have intuitions, and we have, there's a part of us that has the sun in us, of course, that sun sign, urge. Just like our North Node, there's an urge in us that starts to manifest throughout, I would like to say throughout our 20s, around the Saturn return is when the North Node really tries to wake us up and send us messages and tell us hey, you need to be moving that way, not stay in the South Node where you're comfortable and where it's, easy and the kind of vibration and energy that you would like to have more often. Because in reality, the North Node wants to push you, to a new realm, which would ultimately bring you happiness in the end, because it's essentially your destiny. But I have my Libra South Node. I have a South Node in Libra. And I can tell you right now that my destiny is to be more assertive, self-employed, to make my own decisions in life, to not rely on too many people, but at the same time, not lose sight of my Libra energy, still, want to be with people, want to, have their respect, want to, help others, want to, just be in the more harmonious energy of Libra. Like, I feel like that's really who I am. But looking back at my life, remaining in Libra energy, and being more of that Libra vibe, even though all of my other aspects and planets and chart design, it's not necessarily tailored to, being a fully functioning type of Libra. But your South Node is just, again, this undertone of essence of you, in addition to your rising sign and your moon. So, for example, I've always been a people pleaser. I've always wanted to have acceptance and to be liked. I always wanted everyone to be happy and okay. I was always liked by everybody, I never really had problems with people. I think that's because my Libra essence and my South Node story has allowed me to navigate, a lot of my relationships and a lot of my activities with others, in that type of way. But at the same time, that has also been some of my greatest downfalls, because I stopped worrying about myself in many ways. I put way too much emphasis on other people and what they think versus, how I want to maybe move forward in my life. I was set back many times with my own personal goals and, and working for people and companies that I didn't want to be a part of, or pursuing career paths in art, for example, where I was relying on too many other people versus really taking my own approach. And the more I broke away from group dynamics in a way and really started paving my own path, that's when I started feeling more energized, more inspired, Now, a Libra North Node might find that what I just said completely insane, because their South Node is, maybe they came from a very selfish background, very Aryan, and just, it's all about me, and what I want to do and what I want to seek, in the most shadowy of senses. So their mission would be like, I need to be more inclusive and harmonious with others. I need to, create better environments in a more group sense. And I need to, be a little bit more creative and less so rigid and on my own, So I hope that little example helps just from my experience. But when it comes to Libra risings and moons, one of the most important things I can tell all of you guys is that the world will not give you what you expect them to return to you. Libra risings and Libra moons need to learn self-mastery, and they need to learn how to be a little bit more Aryan in nature. They need to learn that they can do everything they want to do, and they can have the appreciation of others by embodying the strength of the self. And when I say the strength of the self, this is something I really dove into in the rising sign class, because the rising sign is all about the self, and the moon is about how you integrate emotions. It is about, what you need in this world. It is about how you nurture yourself, this, that, and the other thing. So a Libra moon really needs other people, needs to be creative, I think, and needs to kind of find peace in their mind to calm down their indecisiveness, because they can be very, sporadic and chaotic in the mind. But because they're so sensitive and beautiful people, this can be a detriment, because it's like they really need the world to approve of them. They really need things in this life to tell them that they're doing well or that they're good enough, because they're just such beautiful souls, and they just want to give, and they want to give, and they want to give. But people honestly will fulfill more of your destiny as a Libra moon and Libra rising if you do kind of balance, and maybe even lean a little bit more towards like just standing firm in your own being and your own decisions and your own, just, again, I keep thinking like being a little bit more Aryan, like whenever a Libra rising or a Libra moon kind of gets all crazy, I think it's important for them to, or if they feel like they're, that they're people around them or groups or, whatever they're engaged in or whatever they can't make a decision on, I think it's really important for them to stop depending on other influences to make that decision for them. They really need to learn some kind of technique or whatever the case may be, or maybe even get into some shamanic practices that can allow them to journey into, what would be best for them, because creating and having a solid identity will help the Libra moon and Libra rising get through some of these shadowy aspects. And that was a huge part of the rising sign course or class, is I dove into the shadows of all of the signs, of the rising sign, like the shadow part, because every sign, planet, placement has a shadow to it. And these shadows are something we carry with us all the time. And if we're really trying to fulfill a destiny, if we're really trying to understand our mission and purpose here, we have to know the blind spots, and every day we face the shadow of our rising, of our moon, of our sun, of whatever's going on in the sky influencing your chart. And for Libra risings and moons especially, I think you need to kind of look sometimes to the opposite end, like Libra is opposite of Aries. And sometimes that could be a guiding light. And I feel like maybe that doesn't work for all, axis points in the zodiac sign. In regards to, rising moon influences, like I'm not saying like, oh, you should take the opposite of this, but it does work in many ways, like as a Scorpio rising, I've always known that taking more Taurian approaches to how I deal with other people, or really connecting more with people who are earthy, is always beneficial to me, because I feel like I need a lot of grounding in my life. So a Libra rising or a Libra moon can maybe take some lessons from Aries to learn how to be more self-oriented, so you can eventually develop techniques to make decisions better for yourself, to know that not everybody needs to like you in order for you to be happy, to know that you don't need the approval of critics if you're doing something creative or trying to express yourself in some way. Because a lot of Libra moons and risings are very creative. They're very artistic. They love, Venus is their ruler. So there's a very, there's just a beauty to them, right? And they can be very susceptible to negative criticism. And if you're an artist or a creative or involved in any of that stuff, there could be, energies that try to sway you off of your center. So how do you combat that? Being more Aryan, in my opinion. I feel understanding that the Aries does not necessarily care what other people think. They will do what they want to do. They'll learn, they'll listen to other people they respect, or they'll understand and take it in. But ultimately they're very, very focused. And I don't want to say the word headstrong. Excuse me, my throat is... But they're going to do what they want to do. They'll learn their lessons, but they're going to continue forward. They're not going to necessarily get hung up on what other people think, and they're just going to pave their own way. So to fulfill a true destiny, I think, of a Libra rising and a Libra moon, to really embody all of it, is to balance out that I can find a way to make my own decisions. I can find a way to not let the world bring me down, because I know the world already is trying to bring me down, because Libra energy is some of the softest and kindest energy there is. And the world, and we have to get real, guys. Like, I know the new age and all this stuff, we all want to say, love and light, this, that, and the other thing, which is true. And a lot of us are here to bring that to the world. But you also need to be real with the darkness of the world. You need to know how to protect yourself. You need to know that sometimes as a Libra rising or a Libra moon, that taking on some archetypal energy of Aries, because it is directly opposite of you, will help you. And I truly feel that is such a powerful realization to have as a Libra moon and a Libra rising, because you don't want to lose your beauty. You don't want to lose that connection, guys. You don't want to lose, all of the beautiful significations of, what Libra has brought to your life. But you also don't want to completely be a slave to the world and other people's influences upon you. And especially whatever conditioning and whatever has fated you in life. Because essentially, our rising and our moons get developed based upon the fate and destiny and karma we essentially have been brought into this life with, and the upbringing we had and the friend groups we have. And we just sort of take on these zodiac signs because the environments kind of force us to, and it's just who we are, and part of learning in life is unlearning. So if we need to unlearn things that are sometimes a part of our innate DNA to master and fine tune those energies, so we can not only be an amazing Libra energy, rising or moon, but you can also be a master at being firm and confident in your own self. And when it comes to the moon, Libra moon, this same thing, this is all more internal. This is more of an internal process, where, everything kind of hits you in a deeper way, which can actually be more catastrophic than, rising sign issues. But still, working with the moon energy of, you can still know exactly what you need from the world and, do things in accordance as a Libra would do. And you can still partake in things that are very Venusian, that will comfort you on the deepest of levels. But if you feel yourself getting way overwhelmed and you just can't really operate properly in this life because, the energies of the world are forcing you to think that you need to please everyone, or you need to be liked by everyone, or, if you really want harmony all the time, but that's not the way life works, you need to learn how to, again, some shamanic grounding, and to understand, like, I can't serve the world and I can't have harmony in my life or create a new life someday soon unless I am solid in myself, unless I do know how to make my own decisions and be okay with not getting the approval that maybe I want. And once you learn how to master some of that, life can be so much easier, and the destiny of your rising and moon energies will really manifest themselves at a certain point in your life, where you will recognize that you are becoming a more self-embodied person. Because embodiment, that word gets thrown around a lot, but embodiment really just, in my opinion, embodiment is like, okay, looking at the shadow, what's the triage and treatment? What do I have to do and examine my life in regards to that? Is there anything I need to change? And then it just takes practice on, trying on different hats, like for someone who's a Libra, Aryan energy might be ridiculously, might be so uncomfortable, but it's like little by little practice, how to be a little bit more self-assertive, how to be a little bit more like, okay, I need to make this decision myself. Like, what do I have to do to get clear? Or, oh, this group dynamic is not harmonious, but we're all friends and I really want to like make sure everything's okay. Like, take a step back maybe every now and then and let people figure out their own shit. Like, you don't need to be the referee, that kind of thing. So embodiment is like, okay, like learning how to consciously remove yourself from a situation or from even like behaviors you're engaged in, like just being self-aware. And that's something else I talked about a lot in the Destiny class, is how important self-awareness is. And then from there, you can slowly embody, more characteristics that can help your Libra energy in the long run be so, so powerful and solid. So guys, I think that's all I'm going to say today. I obviously can go on and make so much more conversation on Libra energy, but I wanted to just focus on the rising and the moon, because the rising is how the world sees you, and like that kind of just will come to you constantly. Like those energies are constantly being laid upon you, and you constantly want to emit that to other people, which is part of your innate frequency. The moon energy is, of course, just more of an internal thing. It's how we process stuff. It's how we feel. It's what we need, So actually the Libra moon might actually be in more of a difficult spot sometimes because, if they don't get the approval of others, if they can't make a decision, or if they feel like they're not being liked, or, whatever the case may be, or if they feel like they're out of balance, like this really hits them on a deep, deep, deep level. Where in the rising sign realm, that could be a little bit more easily managed. And then, of course, your other placements in your chart can play a big role. But the same applies across the board. Learning a little bit more self-assertiveness and self-confidence, and, trying to understand how you could take a step back and learn how to be more individualistic will greatly help you even in group dynamics, and help you against the adversity of life that ultimately is designed to challenge you. Now, Libra suns, I didn't talk about at all because that is so different. Most Libra suns need to embody more harmony in life. They need to be a part of things that are more harmonious. They need to, create dynamics for others, usually, that can be more Venusian in Libra. So part of their story is to become almost everything I was talking about that you should be trying to fight against a little bit. Like sometimes Libra suns aren't very well liked, they're very hard personalities. In my experience, there's parts of them that are not very Libra at all, even though there kind of is. But it's subtle, as they grow. And I feel it takes a certain, fate and destiny for that to occur in one's life. But I've known Libras that are very difficult and hard people. I'm thinking of one person in my family that I don't talk to anymore who is a Libra, and he, is a very stubborn, hard person. But his moon is, he's a Capricorn moon. And I think he is an Aries rising. So Jesus, think about that. But he's a Libra sun, but he has not fulfilled that destiny whatsoever. Not at all. But actually, I should say, on a superficial level, he loves socializing and loves being with friends more than his family. So he pretty much disowned his family because he loves socializing so much and doing so much at the country club and all that kind of stuff, So in a way, he's got some Libra energy going on, but he completely fucked it up, because he destroyed one of the things he should be focused on the most, and that's his family. But again, that's a side note, and this video is not about the suns, but I do hope you gained something from this. So yeah, guys, please let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, can't wait to reveal those classes to you guys very soon as well. So until next time, everyone, hope you're doing well, and sending you so much love.